Hello and welcome to Live Code Happy Hour, this special edition of Live Code Happy Hour that's kicking off the CreatorCon Hackathon. It is May the 1st, 2020. I'm here with some familiar faces, my co-workers, Brad and Chuck. Let's get our introductions down. Chuck first.
Hey, I'm Chuck Tomasi, Senior Developer Evangelist at ServiceNow on the platform team, and it's May 1st. CreatorCon is like just days away. The hackathon is what, hour away or something? It's
1 hour.
It's exactly insane. It's finally upon us. I'm very excited.
Awesome. And Brad.
Hey everybody, my name is Brad Tilton and I'm a developer advocate with the Developer Program at ServiceNow. I've been doing ServiceNow stuff in lots of different roles for a while, and I'm excited for today's show and excited that the hackathon is starting in 49 minutes, 59 minutes. Wow.
Who's counting?
It's been a long day.
Who's counting it all? And hello, I'm Andrew Barnes, developer advocate, also with Brad. We're both in the platform business unit here at ServiceNow, and our role is to be your voice to platform product management and be their voice to you. So, let us know what you want enhanced for the platform, core platform tooling, and we'll help make that happen for you. I've been doing software engineering, running enterprise applications for a long time. Been on the platform for 5 years, and just super excited to kick off our hackathon with this show today. And we'll talk some more about other things later. Let's introduce our other guests, our beverages of choice for the day. Same order.
Same order. I'm taking the light road. I am drinking water.
All right. I love some H2O.
I am drinking a Karbach Love Street. I was also taking the light road, and it's not a stout.
That it is not a stout. That's true. And I am having a Sweetwater 420.
Ooh, classic of the South.
So that's a little light for me. I mean, it's a pale ale, so that's light, right?
I like them. It's a good go-to whenever I'm in Atlanta.
So as I said, we are kicking off the hackathon. At the conclusion of our show today, we're going to play a little kickoff video will be informative for our hackathon participants. So stay tuned for that, or watch it later. As you're working through the hackathon this weekend, it'll be in the channel as a separate video entry that you can watch. Like we said, next week, Knowledge starts, but this is the first event. So we're kicking it off right here. This is the start of Knowledge. And I know that we have been working furiously, especially we always work furiously at this time of year for Knowledge. But the transition to the new format and things have definitely not made less gray hairs for me, that's for sure. But the hackathon we had planned since Brad and I, since we claimed the hackathon for this year, we planned it to be virtual. So fortunately, that component of it didn't change a lot for us. So over the weekend, we're going to have teams competing for prizes and glory. And we are really excited to see what you developers out there build. And those of you that are watching that aren't directly participating in the hackathon, come join in our live streams later this weekend. We're going to be dropping in on some teams and asking the gurus how things are going. And there'll be some other teams that are live streaming during the event, and you can tune in there. We'll be rehosting those in our Twitch stream. YouTube doesn't have a nice feature for that, but we will be doing that in our Twitch channel, which is the same channel name as the YouTube one. If you're most of our folks watch us on YouTube, but for those the rehosting, Twitch is the best place for that. Today, we actually don't know what we're working on. Supposedly, I'm going to go, I got a tweet. So one of our coworkers was a developer MVP for this year. And he wasn't a coworker when he was chosen for that, but now he does work at ServiceNow, Mark Scott. And I put it out to our MVPs and said, hey, we don't have anything particular that we want to solve today. Give us a problem, a utility that you want us to build that is time boxed, that we could actually accomplish it on the show, and don't tell us what it is. And he couldn't join us, but he scheduled a tweet, and it says, for Live Code Happy Hour today, I'd like to see you guys build a flow that adds all Windows servers to the affected CIs of a change request for patching. Okay, this would need to trigger on some identifier in the change form, category, question mark, and would save time on patch days. All right. I think that's accomplishable. Wow. Chuck's not sure.
No, I just want to make sure I've got the idea right. So we're triggering a flow based on some change on a change record. It's going to identify the Windows servers and attach them to
the affected CI is a related list on the change table.
It will put them in the affected CIs list.
Yes.
Okay. And why are we picking on just the Windows server?
Because we're doing Windows patching. Okay.
Assuming we're going to need a separate flow if we're doing, say, AIX servers or Linux servers, or
I imagine that we could do some genericizing on the type of change. So we can either trigger off of something that a change template is providing on the change record to say what class of records it's affecting, and then import that.
Maybe a subflow. Maybe a subflow that accepts some input.
Subflow that takes the inputs. In our first use case, doesn't have an automatic one. We just set them, but the subflow could be genericized once we
it could take a class as an input.
We adjust that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we could have a Linux flow called the same subflow. I like that, Brad. Wow. Listen, Mr. Architect going already.
So, and Chuck said that you were going to give the drive-in today. Is there anything else that we want to share before we hop into the instance?
I'm drinking the water because I'm the designated driver.
He is the designated driver. That was a good idea earlier in the week when you said, the person with hands on keyboard and doing the developing during the show, that's the designated driver.
It had a live coding. You just kept saying driver, and I went,
it's hilarious. I love it.
We should have I have an idea once in a while. Okay.
Wow, we've got a lot of chat. So thank you guys for being here, and we'll get into the instance and start working on that. So let's start by open up a change form and going through the process manually. Is usually the way that I get started is have a change record and go add a Windows server to the affected related list, and go through that process to see if there's any automation in the instance that's preventing that I want to know that it is accomplishable before I try and add another layer of complexity, like automating it in a flow, and then it's not working and I'm not sure why. And it could have been our flow logic or a business rule stopping me.
All right. I don't know if you're seeing my screen or not yet.
We are not.
Rats. This is the first time I've used Zoom since upgrading to Catalina. So it wanted permission in the system preferences. Maybe I'm not the best idea for a designated driver today. Let's give it a couple more seconds. Are we sharing yet?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Well, this is a better sign because now it's at least giving me icons of the desktop. Last time it had the
Hey,
warning signs.
that is looking better, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Rabbit out of hat. All right.
Sweet.
What's my zoom factor on this crazy thing right now?
It's looking good right now.
Yeah, that's 150. So we'll see how it goes with that. I may have to back it down for flow. We'll see. Okay. Start with change record. Let's take a look at what we're actually dealing with. Change, open. I should have some basic demo data out of the box here, which means I've probably got some Windows servers as well. Not a whole lot of them, but let's see. We'll take one that's in a new state, like that top one, right there. I changed up my cursor pointer thing. Catalina didn't like my old one.
You actually got upgraded to Catalina, eh?
No, on my home machine. This is a home machine. It had to do with writing the new version of Podcasting for Dummies, and iTunes kind of goes, bye. It's like, I better understand what the new format is. Anyway, so we may be dealing with some artifacts of a different project. Okay, we've got our number. We've got our main config item, and we are going to look at the affected or impacted services, affected CIs.
Affected CIs.
Okay.
Yep.
And manually, we could do this. Add. Yep. Let's just go through and practice what we're going to do to see if it actually does what we want it to do. This is where we take a drink, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. There. Whew, scaring me. And let's do filter.
I see you've added the Chrome extension for the tag of which instance you're in.
Yes, environment marker. That's a handy one.
That's pretty nice. I thought I'd point that out to the audience. You can't see it very well, but that the black triangle at the corner of your screen actually says PDI. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
I got that idea from a developer meetup, so they're worth something. Class is, look at all these classes we've got. I'm just going to go down to W for Windows Web, WebLogic, Windows. Oh, we've got lots of different things. Windows Server. That was our requirement, right?
Let's do Windows Server.
Yeah, right. I believe that's what the requirement said. And
our CI has 8 of them. So let's say that's our requirement. This is actually a similar request to what I did as a customer to schedule regular patch, reboot, maintenance tasks. And granted, it was a different world back in 2008, but I had done templates and scheduled and made a table that told me what schedule. Originally, I had the assigned to in the template, but that was a pain to manage because suddenly Brian's not in charge of the Solaris server. Somebody else is. Got to go modify the templates, and there's no list editing on the template fields. So it was just, I made another table to abstract that and get these routine tasks. So this is an interesting way that we're approaching this one. Okay, so we've got...
and so the typical use case for the configuration teams is they would come and narrow this down to the right class and then the right filtering, and they'd hit add all.
Add all. Okay, so that's kind of what we want, right?
And this is what we want, and we can see that you can actually do that on our target records that we want. So now that we've done our process manually, now we go looking at automating it.
Flow Designer. Ding. Loading.
I didn't actually get to see what folks said about the animation.
It's been a while, but wasn't this a list collector with an edit button on the related list at one time?
I think it was, yeah.
That add button brought up a whole new modal thing going on. So I'm wondering why. Okay, I want to make sure that wasn't my imagination. Let's do.
I bet somebody can tell us when.
Yeah, it was between Fuji and
Geneva, Helsinki,
London.
Between Fuji and London, that's a pretty wide range. Somewhere between fall 2008. Okay, now Brad, you had suggested possibly doing this in a subflow. Shall we start there with the roots of where we're going? I think.
Yeah, I think a subflow makes sense because we can define some inputs for our subflow, and we can do some genericizing.
Set affected CIs. Anybody have a better name than that? Let's not put that in our sandbox scope. Let's put it in global, just because change is in global, and I feel like a global day. Do we want it in a category of any type? Probably would make sense to have, like, maybe there's other changes going on here. I don't have a whole lot of categories, so let's create one around change management.
Yeah, change management seems like a good category.
I like that. You'll see where the category comes up when we pull it up on the Subflow menu, but it basically gives you blocks of subcategories available to all application scopes. That sounds about right. And do you want to use permissions or no?
I want to use permissions because I want to simulate the actual user doing the work.
Then let's continue with our Subflow. We know we need at least one input, and that would be the class, right? So let's create an input class, CI class. What do you want to call it?
CI class seems
a little more descriptive than just saying class.
Or even affected CI class.
There you go.
Do we need the change as well?
Yes, because we probably want to attach these to the record. So
yeah, if we want to do the action inside the subflow, then yeah, we'd want the change because the records we need to create will need to know that reference.
Yeah.
Change record is going to be a reference to change. Oh, father said poo. Where is it? Change request.
I have spent so long of my ServiceNow life in the change request table.
I did two very major implementations in 2011, 12, and 13 for large pharma and we'll just say Fortune 5 company. And it was a learning experience. It really was, but I was pleased with the end results. But it's been a long time since I played with change, but I see it as no different than some of the other things that we've been doing here with Flow.
Yeah.
Okay. We want to do a lookup of CIs on that class, right? So let's.
Yeah. So we want to look up the records. Yep. That seems like a good first step.
Look up records, plural. What?
You need a space between lookup.
Lookup.
Look
and up is 2 words.
It depends on.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah, so there's both of them, and they're both valid, but in different use cases.
Okay.
I'm actually the one who filed the defect for that.
Now we could look up records on the Windows Server table, but that would defeat the purpose of us using a CI. We want to look up any CI from any class, right?
For this being generic, we want to genericize it. So
configure. Can we do our old trick of just doing CMDB CI like bracket? Oh yes, good. I like that shortcut method.
Yeah, and I like to do I even type it in not the table window and do left bracket the name, right bracket, and paste it in there, and it makes it not search and render the whole list at all. It just goes straight to your record.
It doesn't work everywhere though. I found that whole brackety thing doesn't work in every table picker situation.
But where it works, it's magical because that drop down is a slow drop down.
So class is data pill picker inputs affected CI class string. That's right. It's a string field, right? Class is a string, I think. It's not a reference.
Is it a?
Let's go find out.
Is it a table field?
Yeah, it's a special type. Class is a special type field.
CI.list, and if we do configure,
I think class type or something is
like
the field type itself.
This. I can't even see that. It's behind one of my cameras there. Global. So configure table. I know I could have done dictionary, but I kind of like looking at table formats first. And we want to find Mr. or Mrs. class. Is a system class name. Is that going to impact our searchability? I guess we'll find out. Because this input didn't really give us the option of system class name, did it? Oh,
There we
look at
go.
that.
System class name.
You're about to change an input. Someone's going to get peeved. There we go. I would not have put money on that being in the list. That was a pleasant
So
surprise.
for those of you that are joining us late, I saw some questions about what we're working on. The requirement that came to us, it was a blind requirement today by our coworker, Mark Scott, told us that he would like to automate populating the affected CIs of a change request for patching. And in this case, we're going to do Windows Server, but we're trying to genericize it to any class, which is why we're using a Subflow, which will accept the class and the change request to fill this out.
Okay, now we got that matching up. I think that ought to be happy. Maximum results 1,000. You think anybody's going to be patching more than 1,000 servers?
Absolutely.
Okay, what do you want for a limit? 10,000?
10,000 easy.
100,000? 50,000?
But it's configurable. So
it's configurable. Yeah. Just in case we have a runaway script, I don't want to be here all day.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got our lookup. Then we probably need a for each. Yes.
Yeah, and one of those Fortune 5s, they had a million Windows servers.
And that was one of the subsidiaries that we were doing this for. So I want for each configuration item records. That's about the easiest thing we'll do all day.
Now we're going to
create record.
Create or update.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what if it already exists?
Yeah, let's do a create or update.
We don't get to do those too often, do we?
I don't think we've used that on the stream yet.
Nope. In other parlance, that's known as an upsert. You've heard that term before.
It's such a fun term, upsert.
It almost sounds like you're sick.
Update or insert, whichever one works better.
So we want CIs affected, which is also known as affected CIs, depending on which
it is.
You look at it. It's one of those fun many-to-many labels.
Task _ CI, my friend.
Yes, one of the more common tables you'll use if you are dealing with change incident problem and CIs. It's like task under SLA. So fields, drop in a template. Oh, when did that become a thing? I hadn't seen that before. Is there a pill picker? We don't have a template. There's no picker. Where would you get a template to drop in there? Or would you have had to look one up somewhere, you think?
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
I don't either. That's news to me. For now, we'll hard code it. What do you want?
Are you running an early version of something?
No, this is Orlando, whatever my PDI is. P1, I think. This is...
Yeah, 7900 is your PDI.
Yeah. Patch 0, hotfix 1. It's not that new.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the drop in a template. I don't think I've used this.
Template?
I don't think I've used this action type though either. So
that's true.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
We are all learning here today, kids.
Kevin says that template feature is in New York, and I don't know how to use it. So we're gonna have to figure out how to use that at some point because I now want to know what it does.
Yeah, I'm thinking we would have maybe we could even modify this later to accept the template that we want to put in here to make it even more flexible. That might start getting into that rule of keep your things simple, like keep your actions simple, keep your flows simple. How many parameters is too many parameters?
Yeah. So here, those are very simple records. We could go look at one of the ones that we generated to make sure we put in the right things, but I believe it's just simply a reference to the change request and to the CI. So
that is the point of this many-to-many table. So we have a CI, which will point at whatever CI we pulled out of our for each loop. Gosh, this feels almost too simple. And then we have a task, which will point at our parent change record.
That's some of the joys of Flow Designer, though, is when Flow Designer is meant to do the thing you're trying to do, it feels so good.
Is that it?
Easy.
I know, I'm almost disappointed.
Don't be disappointed. We got some more things we could do to it, but
okay. So
let's get it working, and then maybe feel
find a victim. Change open. I still had them on 40,007. That one's good to hear. 40,004, because that sounds like a file not found error, doesn't it?
Okay.
And does it have any affected CIs on it?
Nope.
No.
Sweet.
40,004 is please reboot the AS400, which has a lot to do with our Windows servers, doesn't it? Let's do a
And
test on the Subflow. The class is going to be, ooh, what do we put in here? CMDB CI window?
Just go grab one of those records and make sure we get it right.
Okay.
So
Windows
go to
servers. Oops, Windows. Configuration servers Windows. It is in CMDB CI under Win under server. I'm looking at the URL. CMDB CI under Win under server. Change record is 40,004, which isn't on here, interestingly enough. Oh, these are new. Heck with it. CHG 004 0004. There it is.
Yay!
That can be sorted.
Right.
Run it. I should bring out my sound.
And so our expectation was that we got all of those records from that, which was 8, I think it was.
Look, 8 kids right there. There's a big old snowman. Okay. And here's some 8, and it even has the display values of them. Now, for the $2 prize,
we refresh our
less than our grand prize.
Clicking the breadcrumb refreshes just that related list, which is very handy.
A lot of people. 8. I feel like the countdown.
All right, everybody take a drink because that was some victory.
Servers. There we go.
Water.
What did you want to modify?
Whatever beverage of choice you have, let's drink it.
We're done in 25 minutes.
We're not sad.
Oh no, we still want to make the flow. We're gonna make the flow around it.
Yeah, we still need to actually automate the use case. So we made generic,
and
so now for our particular use case,
do we want an output here? Should we tell something that tells the flow that it works?
Yeah,
that we did something.
That would be too obvious, wouldn't it?
Let us set us a output of like how many were added.
Yes,
I like
we
that.
have a count from our lookups.
We get a count from the lookups and throw in the status from the. Well, no, I don't want a status from each of the loops, just the count.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and we set that. Where do you set the outputs? I've never set.
It's right there under flow logic at the bottom.
Flow logic
is assign subflow outputs.
Subflow output. I love that equals Y icon. Okay, so we pick one.
Equals Y.
That's only half an equation.
And
P implies Q, solve for X. There we go.
One dot count.
Yeah. That was an old calculus joke we used to say. Save.
Count.
Publish. Now should we make a flow?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So now we're going to make a flow on the change record. And I think the way that I would like to genericize it is, we need to make our trigger first, which is probably going to be a category of, something like patching. So we might need to go make that category, but in your process that would exist.
So we could, do we have anything worthy of triggering at this point? State, authorized, state, scheduled, implement.
Yeah, so we're going to want
authorize, assess.
Between new and assess is probably when we want to populate that.
I can't go new to assess. I go new to authorize. That's interesting.
It'll depend on your change type.
Sure.
So emergency is going to have less steps because.
Okay, so what, when it changes from new? That seems pretty generic.
Yeah, but changes from new, that seems fine. Yeah, changes from new.
Okay, that'll be our trigger.
And category, let's do category of patching. So if we don't have a patching one, let's add
You do
one.
not have a patching one.
Let's go ahead and add that.
We can do that. Let's see what the choices look like today on The Price is Right. Patching.
Patching. Sweet.
And it's not alphabetic, so I'm not being particular. But I will
just leave other on the bottom. I like it. Other belongs on the bottom.
Other and hold are probably my two least favorite choice list options ever.
Because they get selected way more times than they should.
If you ever consider a hold, you better darn well have an unhold process built somewhere.
You should.
Or it's
that will nag people to do so.
Right.
So now we're going to create the flow.
New flow. Change. Set affected CIs, because I typed it earlier, it remembered.
Okay.
User who initiated session, global protection reasonable. Looks good. Description goes here.
Yeah. We know what it is, but when you write it, out there building it in the world, you'd say something like populates the affected CI related list for blah, blah, blah.
And employs the blah, blah, blah flow.
Absolutely.
So we want
the change request table.
When
changes
category
from new.
I'm wondering if it picked it up. Oh, it did pick it up. Good, because I didn't start the flow yet. And state changes from. I don't use changes from very often, but this is fun.
It's a rarer case when you've got a branching that happens from the initial. Like that's the perfect time to use that.
Yeah.
And change is one of those times where you jump from new to multi-path states. So
okay,
it's a good use case.
Run it once, run it. If it's not running, what do we think?
I think this should be for
feels like once.
So if I genericized it, if I genericized the subflow, I would care that I'd need to clean it up first, and then we would have only done inserts. So in this case, I don't know that I want to run it every time.
And I don't think we're not going to move from new to anything else more than
once. And you can't in the typical change processes, you can't get back to new.
Right. So once feels about right for this one.
So once feels right.
It's a discussion we should have.
Yeah. It should fit into whatever your change process is.
Do we want this to run foreground or background? Background feels okay.
Background's fine because I don't want to wait for that in a big instance. Yeah. When I hit, move to the next level, I want it. Yep. I want it to give me my session back.
We still haven't put display values up here. It says changes from -5.
Where's the womp womp music?
I can get you one of those. that deserves me reaching over for the soundboard. Come on. Now let's do my soundboard. There
we go. That was worthy of that. I agree.
Kingston, man. Come on.
So now we're going to, in our actions, invoke our subflow. And here's where
global. Look, we already had a category, so it's nice that I actually made one.
Oh yeah, so new category jumps right out.
Fortunate accident. Pick our subflow.
The thing I would like to populate the affected CI class, where I'd like to get that actually, is from the CI on the change request. So get the class of the.
Okay, if you're
you have to pick one.
It'll pick the rest. Okay.
And it'll pick the rest of them.
Change configuration item class. I use that typing filter thing all the time. Go. Pick it. Why is it not letting me pick it? It's the right type.
What was your field type?
Well,
is string, right? And it's balking at choice. No, it's not string.
We changed it to system class type.
Class path?
Special type. But is configuration items class that type? That seems a little aligned.
It has to be. It has to be, because that's what we're looking up, didn't it?
Item. Hold on. Let's just look at the dictionary item for this. So let's go to the dictionary item. No, that wasn't where I wanted to go.
Yeah, you want to go to the base.
Yeah. So I want to pick,
items.
like, go into this, open the record, and pick the class here. This is, I think we just hit a challenge.
I think we hit a peculiarity.
A peculiarity. All right. This should have a class.
I mean, because this is where we got it from.
This is where we got it from. And it is a system class name. And our parameter is looking for a system class name.
Now, was that not in the picker? Was that not a thing that we could pick? Was that the problem?
Not. If you go trigger, change record, configuration item, it's only looking for strings. Look at this. The only thing that's lit up is a string. This is weird. Class is not available. It thinks it's a choice.
Well, that is a little disappointing. But
okay.
But hey, guess what? We're developers. Hit the FX button. Hit it like you mean it.
I like that. Okay, so we want FD. This is going to be fun. Data.
Yes,
we need to return something.
Yeah,
so
we need to create a variable to return.
Do we need to create the variable, or can we just return it?
We can just return, since we're not doing any transforms
data
or anything to it.
Trigger dot. Why does it say current in the example? We want trigger dot what?
Yeah, current. Current is what we want.
It's running against the record.
Okay. That wasn't obvious because I'm looking at the data panel going,
yeah.
Okay, whatever.
And then configuration.
This is
CMDB CI.
Yeah.
Dot.
Then dot class.
It's
class name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it.
I'm glad you guys agree. I wasn't feeling comfortable with that, but
very sneakily
there.
Collapse it. Don't click the FX again.
Don't click the FX button.
So hit the collapse is fine, but hitting the FX turns it off.
But you don't lose your script. You just don't.
It doesn't lose it. It just won't run.
Okay, just for example, it goes, no. You go, well, wait. There it is. Yeah, you have to. And this, now that it's lit up, it says, I'm going to use this script.
All right.
Expand to edit.
We can.
Okay. Our change is going to be this one. Done. Save.
And so in this case, if that truly is how I'm going to generically use this, we could have just passed in the change request and not needed to pass in the class name, because we could have gotten that inside the subflow. Is a design decision.
You're right. We gave it a parameter that it already knew.
Yeah, but that's okay. I'm not sad.
I often do that with like script includes. Just pass the whole glide record. You'll have more than you ever wanted.
Well, when you pass the record over, unless you know the exact class, which we did in this case, it's actually easier to break the two things out while you have the correct data pills than it is to do a lookup again in your subflow for a record you have passed into it.
The other thing to remember is when you pass in a script, if you pass a glide record, it's by reference. It's not by copy. So if any changes you make on that will be affected on the actual glide record that you passed in. So if you know your parameters of passing by reference or passing by value, it's passing by reference. So be careful. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, let's change this.
Change our category and change the change our configuration
item to a Windows server.
Well, we already have affected CIs on this.
We do.
So we either need to remove them or remove part of them. Remove just some.
Ooh, so we can test our upsert.
But it's going to look for the AS400 class and maybe add some of
those.
those.
Yeah, but remove some of these and then add one of them up top.
Delete SAP SDO1. I'm going to guess that's a fictional San Diego SAP server. SAP
P.
SDO1. Oh, look, it says Windows Cluster, Windows Server.
Sweet. And now we'll change the category.
Change the category to patching.
And then we'll want to
authorize. And, ooh, look at that. It became read-only too. That was an interesting effect.
Yep. Lots of that in the change request world.
Mm-hmm. Somebody thought about.
So now our expectation is
affected CIs cannot be created for in-progress change requests. Was that just informative, or did it do what we hoped it didn't do what we wanted?
Let's go check the flow, we can refresh here, but yeah, we can check
we
the
didn't
flow
activate the flow.
Oh, we didn't.
We didn't. We want to test. Let's
we'll test it against that record. It's fine.
Which one was that? It was 40,004.
Yeah.
Change 0040004 404. Thank you. Someone's got a 404 going on in his head. Running. It's running an uncomfortably long time. There.
No, that was a comfortably long time. Invoking a subflow actually takes a moment. Ooh, an error. All right, let's expand those steps from the drop down on the left of the subflow.
Oh no.
Hit our arrow on the drop down of the subflow.
Wait, the drop down of the subflow. Oh.
Yeah.
Yes,
to get the sub steps there. And let's see where we erred. It
was aborted by a business rule.
Oh, look at that.
You can't do this because the read-only affected CI
is only new.
Okay. So we need a different trigger. We've picked a bad use case.
We have picked a poor trigger. So this is one of those times when doing the process manually would have caught this, right? Like,
yes, it would have.
So instead of changing from new, we'll
this better be state is new.
And this might be one of those times where, we make this flow a UI action.
Let's do that.
Like we invoke the flow from a UI action.
Let's do that just for fun to get the flow API out.
Okay.
So we don't need
state is new, categories patching. Yes.
No, we don't need this because the UI action will take care of that.
It's true. That
would be redundant, and we don't want this to be triggering any old time. It's what can we use to prevent this trigger from triggering?
Like if we only want it to trigger from script.
We only want it to go from script. So run once, like
run
a week
once,
ago.
Yeah, run once and then set it in the past.
I can't.
But then we don't have an input.
We don't need an input. Oh,
can we pass it in the flow API?
Input. Yeah, we would just call the subflow directly then from the API.
Let's do that. Let's disable this bork.
Yeah, we'll just call it from the Subflow API.
We never activated it anyway, did we?
Yeah, we never activated it. It's fine. It doesn't exist.
Run once last few days ago. Okay. So we want our happy little code snippet.
Yep. Which is very handy. Like grabbing these is super duper handy. So we have to decide whether or not we want to run this from the server side or the client side, which we have access to both of those in the UI action.
I am a server side guy.
So if our decision was to run it in the background, we want it server side, right?
Right.
So server side's fine then, right?
Execute synchronously, run in the foreground, but we'll use this line because it's async.
Right.
Okay, so we copied the code snippet. There are times when you want to use client, but my general philosophy is use client side sparingly for just about everything. Browsers, So let's go to our change record and create Figure UI action. Wow, completely missed that one. My font size is making all kinds of fun here. UI actions. There it is.
Yeah, when you're when you move from 4K down to like 1080 and then zoomed in a bunch, like it feels like I'm on a whole different machine. Like my mouse and how fast I move it relative to the things on the screen is way out of proportion.
Name, create, affected CIs. How's that? On the change table.
Yeah.
This feels like a form link to me. What do you think?
A form link.
Yes. It doesn't get to be a button unless it's really important.
Yeah.
You only have to click it once. It's a link.
I mean, it is fairly contextual because we're going to want to narrow it down to just patching, but yeah, but like it still should be
on insert. I like to also give my action names. It's just one of those things. It can, there's rare situations where you may have something
it's
that's
super usable when useful when you have expansions later.
Yes. So create affected CIS. We don't need anything else that I can see. Some comments would be nice. Okay. And our condition is current.state. There's -5, right?
I don't. Yeah, it was -5. That's the handy part of it, not doing the display value.
And current.category. Did it make it uppercase or lowercase for me? I don't know. I'm going to guess it was unsmart and went like this. Patching with a capital P. We're going to validate that in a second.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? We probably could. Can we pop this out into a new window? Yes, we
sure
can. Oh,
middle clicking is a thing.
History for the win. Show choice list. Yeah. Here's the whole world of tasks.
Yeah. In this case, I would have just gone to the XML because I had the value.
You know what? That's
on that record.
Grand idea.
Because the choice list for a category in the task-based tables is really long.
Almost as much fun as state. Okay. And I don't use this nearly as much as I should. Show XML.
And then in category, we can see what's actually stored in the database.
Patching with a capital P.
Patching with a capital P.
You got to watch that because sometimes when it makes new entries for you, it's helpful and makes them lowercase and underscores the things and sometimes not. So I was right. Patching with a capital P. We want to paste in our code.
Yeah. And then cut out what we don't want. And uncomment the stuff we do.
Don't want synchronous. We want async. Right?
And then we need to set some inputs.
We need some inputs that look like, well, it already knows our input, but this is...
That's the handy part about that snippet is it knows the inputs for your subflow, which is great.
Current.cmdbci.sys class name. Yeah?
Yep.
Think we can trust that we don't need a 2-string on there or anything?
That looks good.
Yeah.
And change record is going to be...
Yeah, we're not looping over it or anything, so...
Current... This is awesome that it goes, hey, it's Clyde record of this table. Wow. Nice comments, buddy. And we probably want a action.set redirect URL. All right, stay here. That'd be my first choice. We good?
Yeah. Let's do it.
What are these called? Self-inflicting functions?
Iffies. Is it immediately invoked?
Self-inflicting. That's the best name for that I've ever heard. Self-inflicting. Nice.
Okay, we need to go back to new, but we can't go back to new on this one. He's already burned that can.
Yeah, that ship has sailed.
Lighting a match, man. You can only light a match once.
Testing change request process.
Oh, you can burn through demo data fast.
Man. Oh, what I would have given for ATF back when I was doing that for the first time.
Oh, that would have been nice. Okay. And do we have any down here? Oh, we do. Oh, we already played with this one. So let's play with this one again. take a few things off. This was the one we manually did before. So delete those. I just happened to click the same one before and now. And well, let's check. Do we have our UI action? We shouldn't because we don't have the right category yet. So category is paching. And now do we have the category, the UI action? Yes, create affected CIs. But we want our SAP SDO1. Thank you, history. Save that. Now we can hit this. And we currently have 5. 5 is the magic number. We already have SDO1 in here. Let's make it a little more fun and take SDO1 out.
All right.
Delete, delete, delete. Okay, one more time.
It's the loneliest
Do we get a
number.
drink or... Well, it didn't crash and go back to the list. That was nice.
That is handy when your UI action doesn't get.
Oh,
Ooh,
it got
5.
SDO1. Where's the rest?
Where are the rest? What happened?
Who died?
Let's go take a look at our execution.
Okay. That's
Error.
our old one.
Did it not run?
I don't think it ran. This one hasn't been run since 1324. It's now 1350 for me. Is it running asynchronously and just running really slow? No.
How slow could it
Did
have
our
been?
UI action die on us?
You want to check the generic logs, or you want to look at the UI action?
I don't know. What do you want to do? Let's go Z to A. Create affected CIs. Just make sure we didn't forget to uncomment something like run. Input, pass this, pass the input. Set affected CIs is the name of the script because it gave us that. Outputs is output. We didn't do anything with the outputs.
One, we won't have code snippet will not have access to the outputs. So we should comment out that line.
I think maybe it died. Let's go check the system logs. When in doubt, log it out. System logs. And system log says script undefined, no thrown error. Who's that from? Looks like about the time I ran this thing. Let's try it again. Cannot get property of undefined 0 evaluator. Who's that? That's not me. That's somebody else.
That's somebody else.
I'm not sure what that's all about. Wow. Live message utils. We weren't playing there today. Let's keep going. So we go back to our 40,000, whatever it was. Where's our change request? That one. Please reboot PeopleSoft. Patching. That is a Windows server, right? Preview this record.
Yeah.
Lenovo Think Server TD230.
It says Windows Server right at the top. So
there we go. And the CI is there. Let's take this one off. I didn't validate that was taken off the list. Do you want to delete that? Yes, I do. We should have 4. We still have 5. It's not removing anything for me. Wall? Okay, we removed before. Something in the logs that you want to explain?
I'm sorry, what just happened? I was answering.
I was trying to delete SAP SDO1 and it didn't delete.
Oh, there's probably that's the one you're choosing, right?
So it's automatically putting it on.
Yeah,
there?
there's automatic rules for populating itself down there.
You can't saw off the branch you're sitting on.
Yeah, you can't say the thing that I'm changing is unaffected by this change.
Why not? It's only there's a pointer. Okay, so let's do create affected CIs. There's something fishy. I almost want a GS add info message in my UI action to say, hey, I'm here and I'm running. But the fact that it's doing the action.set redirect is working.
Let's make sure we're invoking the script part.
Right.
So can you
put some logs, put a breakpoint?
Yeah, we could. It's synchronous, so that part of it could have a breakpoint.
That part could have a breakpoint. Let's just see if we're starting. Okay, where's my debugger? I don't know if I put my debugger in a shortcut favorite yet. Debugger. Script debugger. There it is. Hello, I'm the script debugger. How may I help you?
Yeah, and so if you're asking about questions about the plugins for your instances, if there are plugins that you can enable directly, go ahead and enable them. If there are plugins that you need, go ahead and either we're going to have a Zoom session right after this with the gurus, which you can send them a message or post it to the community, and we'll get in and let us know which instance and what the plugin name is, and we'll get it installed for you as soon as we can.
Andrew's doing hackathon support already.
And add your team name to the post as well.
Inputs. Affected CI class is right. Change record is our glide record.
Sweet.
And
then it's going to throw an event. So we won't.
Right. We won't see what happens there.
So it should just go straight to the redirect. So unless we're getting an error in the system log,
why are we not seeing our execution?
Yeah, we should be getting an execution here. Did we? The Subflow is activated. I remember us doing that.
Yeah. But Subflow hasn't been run since a half hour ago. We're almost out of time, and we're so darn close.
We're going to have to wrap up.
It's painful. We had it.
So go to the Subflow, if you would, and just load it up and see if it's got anything weird going on.
Affected CI class. There's our 2 inputs.
That looks fine.
We can't save or publish.
It's published. It's good to go. Like it should be running.
I'm the system administrator. I should be able to run this.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why this wouldn't be able to run. Like
show spoke, show triggered flows. No. Huh. Did we find a bug?
And test it against that record.
Okay, that was 40,007. CHG 004 0007. Run test. Dun, 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 dun. Oh,
error.
Error during insert of task CI. Is it our upsert?
I think it's erroring on the upsert.
But it worked so well on 40,004.
It did. All right. Well, I think we have accomplished the task, which was running this server side and invoking it from a flow. We got that. We nailed that. We had a stretch goal of adding a UI action to invoke the Subflow directly, and we didn't quite achieve that. But let's drop out of the share.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Absolutely.
Flow did a great job for us.
It really did. So that was a lot of interesting things that we got into there. We touched on being able to, utilize a Subflow, the inputs of the Subflow, the outputs of a Subflow. We used a record lookup. We tried to use and successfully, in some cases, use the upsert. So the insert or update, or what is it? The create or update.
Create or
action.
update. That's it.
Yeah.
And then we went the path of invoking the Subflow asynchronously through the UI action. and that's where we had a little bit of a struggle. But should be pretty easy to figure out why it doesn't like us there, and update the comments here of what we did wrong, to fix that up. But that code snippet is really handy um, when you're in your flows or subflows or actions, and you want to invoke any of those from either the server side or the client side. You can, click that little kebab and say, get code snippet, and then work from there. That's pretty good. So excellent work, Chuck. Thank you, Mark Scott, for your idea. Let's rate our drinks, and then the hackathon starts in like 60 seconds.
Yeah, go. Water 5.0 every day.
5.0. It's so good. I love water. Brad.
It's my love street. There we go.
There you go.
I always forget. It's got to go from my
the
face.
Best place for the.
We're gonna give it a 3.75.
And the Sweetwater 420, which doesn't look green because, well, it's picking up the background because it is exactly the same shade of green as my green screen, which is hilarious. It is the same shade, even, not just green. It's a 3.75. I'm hanging with you there, Brad. So thank you, audience. You guys were great today for joining us. Especially the new folks who have never been here. We're glad to have you. If you can't tell, we don't plan any of this stuff. This is not a polished demo. It's not supposed to be a polished demo. So this is 3 ServiceNow experts doing something that they didn't know they were going to do before the show started. So it's definitely unscripted. And shows how we get through those steps. The hackathon is starting now. We're going to have a guru session right now. So if you're here for the hackathon, we're going to, on the channel, we're going to make public the video right now to get you started with the hackathon. I am going to end the stream, but you can watch the channel directly for that video that I'll publish right now. It's already there. I just need to turn it on for you. And we'll get hacking, and come back and join us on Saturday and Sunday. We're going to have live streams then. We're going to check in on the teams. Anything else you want to share, Brad? The Hackathon King?
Yeah, so you can go ahead and start getting going hacking. We're going to do a live Zoom guru session starting as soon as we hang this up. If you need help, you can check on the community. If you have any trouble logging into your instances, we can help you with that. I would start, if you're just having login issues or plugin issues, I don't know that I would log into the Zoom call. Just post on the community the name of your team, the name of your instance, and what's going on, and we'll take a look at it. Yeah, we have an informational video coming up in just a minute, and we do this show every Friday, except for next week, I think, but just about every Friday at 4:30 Eastern. So if you enjoyed this and learned something, tune in, and we'll continue to struggle through all sorts of random development topics.
All right, and the video is public now, so you're welcome to start watching that right now. Thank you, everyone, and have a great weekend. Whether or not you're, just watching the hackathon or joining in, I hope you do engage, and we'll see you next time.